And this is a crisis that is coming on top of an existing crisis and making lives so much harder for all Syrian people. I'm Martin Leach, and I'm Tearfund's Regional Director for the Middle East. At least 33,000 people have died in the disaster in Turkey and in Syria, and a good number of those are in Syria. Many people are now left homeless, have had their lives destroyed, their livelihoods destroyed. Water has been cut, electricity is cut, roads are damaged, access for everybody is really challenging. Responding to this earthquake has been an enormous challenge. So on top of the blocked roads, buildings falling into the street, the damage, you've got the crisis of an earthquake having shaken the whole area. So which of the buildings that are still standing are still safe to go back into? And I'm pleased to say I discovered today that already an assessment team has been starting to go around to look at buildings with cracks in them to see which are safe and which are unsafe, which allows some people to go home. But in addition to the physical damage, you've got shortage of supplies, you've got shortage of fuel, and of course fuel, diesel, is used to power generators which heat buildings and provide electricity, and that is very short at the moment. In addition, this is the middle of winter in Syria. Tonight it's predicted to go down to -3 in Aleppo, so extremely cold. So if you've lost your heating system, it is really very, very tough and very difficult for you. Syria has had a civil war for 10 years, making people extremely vulnerable. Many people have had to flee from their homes, go to different places, new places, or maybe have lost their lives, lost their livelihoods, their families. The Syrian Orthodox Church opened its buildings on the very first day to those people who'd lost their homes, who were injured, who had nowhere else to go. And they provided just a warm, safe place to come to, some shelter, some food, some water, a mattress, perhaps a blanket, warm clothes. And Tearfund has immediately been given money to the church so that they can purchase additional resources that they need, maybe medical attention, mattresses, food, blankets, etc. We're giving them the money so they can make the decisions about what is needed for the people in their area. And what we do know from them is that many of their parishioners or members of their church have also lost their lives, have lost their homes. And we heard so sadly from the Syrian Orthodox Church that one of their priests, Father Imad, had also been crushed when his building was destroyed. And that is such a sad story for people who depended on him and who knew him and who loved him. The church has opened its doors to all people is a wonderful testimony to their faith and to the way that God has worked through Christian people in Aleppo. They've opened their church to people of faith or no faith or different faiths, welcoming them in, feeding them, giving them comfort without any restriction. And that has been a huge testimony to the lives of a church that has been challenged for many years in Syria. It's also a testimony to the fact that the church has been in Syria for 2,000 years, one of the original places of Christianity. I think the first thing is to pray for the church to be able to prioritize what it should do. First off, there are so many needs. So what do they do first? And then what do they do next? They need wisdom from God to make those good decisions. The second thing is for comfort for people who are bereaved, for people who've lost so much, and some kind of hope for the future. And then, of course, the third thing is that there should be sufficient aid that is provided. And Tearfund is one of the agencies that are supporting the local church, and we would love your prayers.